Hey everybody, it's Linda West, and I'm super duper excited to be here to bring on Martin Lopez, the curiosity theory. When I first met Martin, which was probably like 1.5 to 2 years ago, he was talking about this curiosity theory, and the book is finally out, and he's got a course. We're going to talk all about it. But in particular, what we're going to talk about today is empathy, how you can use empathy for sales. And it's not about like selling to people or selling at people. It's about finding out what people's needs and wants are and meeting that need or want. And Martin's going to share with us how to use curiosity to get there. But first, before we get started, before I bring Martin in, because we actually are live in person, I shoved him off to the side over there. He said, hold on a second, buddy. I'm not ready for you yet. But if you have any questions while we go on, go ahead and ask the questions in the comments there and we will respond. If you find that this is a topic that is something that some of your friends can use, or maybe your family members, you never know, right? If you find it's something that they can use, go ahead and share this video out. I really appreciate that. And then I wanted to share that Martin, I didn't tell you this yet. I'm going to be speaking at the Massive Success Breakthrough, which is in February 9th through 11th. I'm so excited. But go to attendmsb.com right there if you want to come out and watch me speak. It'll be my first time speaking on a big stage. So I'm really excited, and I could use the support. And I don't usually ask for support because, it's kind of overrated because we all ask for support all the time. So I only really ask for it when I really need it. I'm going to need you guys. Okay, so if you go to attendmsb.com and show up, that would be really amazing. And then lastly, before we get started here, my show is sponsored by the Prepared Performer, Molly Mahoney. For those who don't know, she's an absolutely amazing live video coach. She's taught me so much. She's taught a whole bunch of people so much. Hey, Patty, thanks so much for, ask, right? Ask and you shall receive. If you don't ask, you will not receive. Okay, so I want to thank the Prepared Performer for sponsoring today's show. The Prepared Performer supports businesses and experts to gain more credibility, visibility, and to be known as the authority in your space so that you can attract a flood of leads who are ready to, get this, throw their credit cards at your face. And Molly is a testament to what she's doing on there. So you guys go to thepreparedperformer.com and check out Molly. Now, I'm going to introduce Martin Lopez. Come on over. Woo!
Thank God for roller chairs.
Hold on a second here.
Roll back.
That's right. We're going to roll back.
This is awesome.
Walmart does a roll back, right?
Roll back.
Hey, it's kind of hollow in here. But so next time, let's bring some pillows or something. Okay?
Something. Yeah,
let's see.
It's like we're in a bathroom or something.
Exactly. So Martin Lopez, I met. Did I meet you? Where did I meet you? Is this a secret knock?
No, you did your event right after Christmas.
Oh,
at the golf course.
It was that? That's when I met you?
Well, no, I didn't meet you there.
Oh,
but then I started talking to you. I'm like,
okay, so he saw how awesome I was, and he was like, I got to reach out to this girl and find out because she is so amazing.
No, I was like, dude, if you're doing that, like because that's huge. That takes big companies to do.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was like so inspired by that. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that was awesome. Good job.
Awesome.
I like that you're going to be speaking again. That's
yes.
really cool. Yeah.
I'm excited to speak. I know I'm going to be speaking for Thrive Talks coming up here soon when you're getting ready to do your next one. So
actually, I'm looking for someone to help me run it. So if there's somebody out there that wants to be if there's an entrepreneur out there that wants to help run a very cool business, give me a call. Give Linda a call. She'll hook me up.
You want to just give really quickly what kind of person you're looking for? Like what do you want? Like what are their duties going to be? Because I could say, I'm not an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I'm a type A personality. So I'm like, I need someone to, does all the nuts and bolts.
Oh, the nitty gritty, the spreadsheets, collecting the money and all that.
Collecting the money and all that stuff.
Okay, yeah. So if that's you.
I need a wife is what I need.
A business wife.
I need a business wife.
Business wife. If that's you or you know somebody that fits that, share this with them and have them reach out to Martin. He's an amazing guy. Really, you're going to find that out in just a minute, but trust me, he's an amazing guy.
Thank you.
And his vision is always grand. And so it has to be somebody who can see the vision and can see that it's possible. Okay. So you want to make sure, don't send it to anybody who can't see vision.
That's right. You got to be a visionary.
And today we're going to talk about empathy for good. And it was kind of interesting because we were talking about empathy, and I came up with empathy for good because I realized that I am an empathetic person, but I always saw it as it's a good thing, but it's a bad. And I was kind of looking at the bad sides of it because it makes me like really fall into that person's goods and bads.
Into their energy.
Their energy. Yeah, that's exactly it. So why don't you share with us, first of all, the curiosity theory. And as you can see, he reads his own book.
That's my notes.
Many times he's got notes all over the place. He's like, oh, wait, I got to read my book today.
That's right. I got to read. That's right. Oh, it's 5:00. It's time for me to read my book again.
Exactly. There's some bathroom reading there.
That's right. I go to the restroom. Excuse me.
Oh, there you go. He's going to be in there a while. He's got his book. Okay.
That's right. I'm going to get the big book.
So how did you decide to write a book called The Curiosity Theory? What is the curiosity theory?
That's a good one. The title came by accident.
Oh,
like the whole book is about an accident. It's about actually multiple accidents that happened. And what happened was I got in an argument with my wife on a Friday night, trying to figure out where we were going to go for dinner. Have you ever had one of those?
But the infamous, where do you want to go? I don't know. Where do you want to go? That one?
Exactly.
I've never had that.
You never had that one?
Ever.
I was so frustrated.
Oh my
God.
God.
So upset.
And so was she.
She was,
right,
she was.
Right.
And so I walk home, I walk through the door, and I just go, you know what, you figured out, because obviously my ideas aren't any good, and you know everything, or about something really stupid. 5 minutes later, my wife is in the bedroom on her iPad, playing crossword puzzles, and I'm watching ESPN on the couch.
Aww.
Have you been there? We've all been there, right?
Yeah.
And it was about 4:30 on a Friday afternoon.
Aww.
And it was the middle of summer. And the sun was going to be up for a long time, and I wasn't going to go to sleep for a long time. So I live by the beach. Mm-hmm. So I just I drove down to the beach. And as I was driving down to the beach, I was going over how I was going to win the fight over in my head.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I was trying to figure out, what she did wrong and what I did right.
Okay.
And about halfway there, I live exactly 4 miles from the beach. So about halfway there, it hit me that I was doing that. Like I saw myself doing that. I was like, whoa, I'm like trying to win a fight with my wife, and I'm trying to strategize how to do that.
Because in any fight like that, nobody wins.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? When you're trying to figure out who was right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was right. I had some good stuff.
Yeah, she was right too.
She was right too, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So I get to the beach, and I just thought it was kind of a peculiar thing, kind of like an odd thing that I was trying to win the fight. And I realized that I'd always done that. I'd always done that ever since I was a little kid.
With everybody, or just like close relationships?
Everyone.
Okay.
I'm like, they talk about those people that always have to win.
Yes, that was you.
Yeah, always have to win a fight. And even if I lost a fight, I would somehow make sure I won. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking a fight like little arguments, big arguments, all that kind of stuff. Are we okay with that?
Yeah. So
I get to the beach and I'm walking, and I remember this thing that happened when I was in like 7th grade. Mm-hmm. And there was a guy that wanted to fight me, and I was scared. Do you ever get in a fight, like you get real scared when you're a little kid? Like,
fortunately, I've never been like in a fisticuff fight.
Yeah,
yelling, but yeah.
I used to get in a lot of fights.
Because I'm really good at running away. I've mastered running away.
Well, there's a fight, flight, or freeze, and so you do the flight.
Yes.
Yeah, I do the fight. I do the fight. So
this might turn into a fight.
That's not good. This isn't good. I wasn't smart as you. It was a fight. I went into it,
But it's still it was my coping mechanism, which actually ended up not being a good thing for my life. But go ahead with that.
We have, and actually in our program, in the book, we talk about fight, flight, or freeze. That's something we cover. I got to find the page, but we talk a lot about fight, flight, or freeze. It's one of the number one things we talk about. When you're faced with conflict, our first instinct is reptilian.
Wait, I'm backwards.
You see it?
Wait, there we go.
There it is.
Did you draw those? Wait.
No, I had somebody on Fiverr draw it.
Everything's backwards. Whatever.
It's this. Let me see.
Wait, if you guys have any questions, make sure you ask them, okay?
Fight, flight, or freeze.
Let's see, we got people on here. Hold that thought. Okay. So, hey, Dave. Hey, Jennifer.
Hey, Dave.
She loves the topic. Yeah,
awesome.
Jennifer's an empath, I believe. Patty
I love it.
Definitely
empath. Let's talk about that, because that's what we're talking about. We're actually talking about empaths.
These guys, a bunch of empaths here. Thanks for tuning in.
That's awesome. That's really great. So, my wife is an empath. She's very sensitive. She go and I don't know. I don't know if this is your. I'm not an empath, so I'm gonna kind of make up what I think the definition is. So if you go into a room, you just can feel what people are experiencing. Like you can feel them somehow physically. Is that?
Yeah, it's I'm not as, because there's different levels,
Yeah,
because I don't think, I think if I tuned into it, I could be a stronger empath,
Sure.
but I choose not to.
Yeah.
But
That's a heavy thing to be.
it is, because you
Yeah.
can walk and you can feel the weight of the room.
Yes.
Like if there's like a sullen energy, like the other night, for example, I was at an event and I saw somebody and I can just feel them.
Wow.
Like I could feel the pain this person was going
Yes.
through. And then I later found out that this person had experienced something very tragic just
Wow.
a couple weeks ago. And I had no idea, but I could feel it. Like, it wasn't like I could see it. No, I could feel it.
Wow.
That's what an empath is.
So in the curiosity theory, we actually redefine empathy. We work up this thing called distinction. So what we do is we have a set of distinctions that are using words that other people use, but we're going to use them differently. We're going to use them specifically as a tool. So empathy, we use empathy specifically as a tool. So separate from being an empath or being what people think sympathetic or empathetic is. So what we say in the curiosity theory, empathetic is the ability to connect with somebody's feelings without having to feel that feeling. So it looks like this. I've been angry in my life. I've had anger, I've had sadness, I've had depression, I've had lots of emotions. And we talk about it. It's a class in emotional intelligence. And so I'm going to go to the pages that we talk about.
Is it kind of like a takeoff of NLP?
No.
Okay.
It's nothing like that. It's not NLP because it's not looking to use language as a way to get your way. It's using language as a way to understand where you're coming from and where other people are coming from.
Okay.
So if I was using NLP, I would listen to what you're saying and I would try to speak so that I would get you to maybe buy something or do something.
Manipulation. Oh.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't say that, but I think that MLP,
and manipulation.
And a lot of people say that, and some people that are really good at NLP, I mean, really good at it, they can read people and they can work it and they can do all that. That's not what we talk about. What we're talking about is what's below that, like what really occurs with human beings, like what's really occurring inside of myself, and then I'm just really wondering what's occurring inside of you, and that's where we connect in the truth, in like what's really there, not assuming or not trying to feel what you're feeling. So let's say you were, pick a word, pick any word. Everybody, these are words.
Curious.
Okay, let's pick another one.
Okay,
that's too easy.
Okay, let's do encouraged.
Encouraged. Okay, so if encouraged was a need that you had, okay, or a feeling that you had, you felt encouraged. I don't have to feel your encouraged feeling in order to understand what that is, because I felt encouraged in my life. So I connect with, what I want to do is empathy, and the curiosity theory is look and see that we have a connection to encouraged, and we know what that's like. So we can celebrate it with you without having to go, oh, I've done that too. Because once it becomes the once I put the attention on me, it now takes it away from you. So if you say, I'm feeling, let's take a negative feeling.
Puzzled.
You're puzzled. Oh, you're really puzzled. Yeah, I'm kind of puzzled too, So now all of a sudden it's not honoring your puzzled. It's now I'm puzzled. And in the curiosity theory, it's like, well, I know it. In my head, I'm thinking, well, I know what it's like to be puzzled. So I can be empathetic to you being puzzled. So rather than have a conversation like this with you, we're going to have a conversation together and look in the same direction. Is that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So empathy is about being able to connect with the emotion that somebody's having and then look in the same direction that they're looking, as opposed to like me looking onto you and then trying to figure you out. It's like, well, no, let me look from let me take your point of view and look from that point of view.
So this is perfect for like when you mentioned you're looking for somebody for Thrive Talks, and I said this guy has vision, and so you want to have somebody who can understand your vision. Somebody who maybe understands what vision is because they've experienced it, and it doesn't mean that they're going to like take on your vision as far as every being, because it's impossible. It's your vision. Yeah, but they can tap in and say, "Oh yeah, Martine, this is awesome. Let's go, and we can do this." And because nobody can feel what I'm feeling, and nobody has the way of structuring my life the way I do it. People have their version, and people have what they want to achieve, what they need. The goal, what curiosity theory has you do is it has you work with other people's needs and other people's feelings and other people's observations. And by doing that,
then their highest competencies get acknowledged and used. You and I, when we work together, you and I are polar opposites in so many ways, but we had a lot of success with Thrive Talks,
right?
Because you did what you did really good, and I did what I did really good. And that's what the curiosity theory is. It's not about like, you should do it my way or I should do it your way. It's like, let's figure out what your way is, and let's figure out what my way is, and let's get you to do it your way the best, and we'll get me to do my way the best. Because
that's awesome.
And a lot of people will say, well, that you can't do that because you got to do it my way. It's like, well, but your way might be structurally or let's say strategy wise, that's one thing. But when we start to really get the human element of it, what we're doing is we're really talking about how people operate, how people feel, what people's needs are day to day. Like somebody may have a need to make money. The other person may have a need to get the message out. Well, those two people are going to operate in the same lane differently. Yeah,
that's so true. I hadn't thought about that way.
That's what we do in the curiosity theory. You learn to see.
Now I'm curious.
Yeah, it's really cool. So what we do is use empathy to investigate, to curiously investigate what people have as their needs, what their feelings are, and then curiously look at your own self and examine yourself curiously to see what's going on with me.
Yeah.
Like, what feeling do I have? What need is that connected to? And how can I use that to move me in the direction I want to move and not impose that on you? So empathy works exactly the same way with you as it would kind of with me, where if I'm being empathetic to you and I'm being empathetic to myself, and let's say I'm annoyed. Okay. These are feelings I have all the time. So I'm annoyed. I can own that I'm annoyed. I can be annoyed here, but I understand it has nothing to do with you. The minute I take my feeling and put it on you, I'm like, you really annoy me. Like, how can you annoy me? You can't annoy me, because annoyed is a feeling. It's an emotion, and I can feel it. Now, maybe you trigger me being annoyed, but what we say in language is we tell people, you annoy me, or we say, I know you meant to do that. Well, there's no way that you ever knew that somebody meant to do something unless they told you. But yet we speak this language. So what happens in curiosity theory is we learn to tear apart our language, not so that we can catch other people in what they're saying, but that we can be responsible for what we say and how we say it in 3 domains: what we observe, what we feel, and what we need.
Okay.
So observations and feelings and needs, they create action. It's called an action circle. Everything we do in life is in service of a need, and it's all in service of our own needs.
Well, what about wants, though? Do we do things in service of wants, or are the wants also needs?
The wants could be needs too. Yeah. We call it needs specifically because that's how we identify it. But a want is the same thing. Like, give me an example. I'm going to get some water real quick.
I don't know. I think right now you need some water.
Yeah.
But if you weren't really that thirsty, you might just want some water.
Exactly.
Wait. Let's look here really quick. We got Patty's got some stuff. Oh, she wanted you to say something again. Oops, I don't know.
I'll say it again. What do you want to say?
I don't know. We don't know, because you said say that again, Martine. Oops. So Patty, if you remember what it was, you can come back. How did you come to see that in yourself? So I'm assuming that like the
good question.
Yeah.
Who is that, Patty?
No, that was from Dave. So
Dave. Thanks,
okay.
Dave.
Oh, here we go. Show on the screen. Dave asked the question: how did you see that in yourself?
Wow, good question. So when I was walking the beach, I got to the beach and trying to figure out this fight and realizing that I'm trying to fight with my wife. And then realized that when I was young, I was taught how to fight by my peers. And they said, how you fight is, if you get in a fight, you want to make sure the other person never wants to fight you again. So you might lose, but make sure you do enough damage so that the person never wants to fight you again. Make them not forget you.
Wow.
That's what I was taught. I grew up in kind of a tough neighborhood.
Kind of.
Yeah, kind of a little tough. And so that's how I operated. So when I was married, 15 years.
It carries over.
I carried over.
Yeah, that junk carries over.
And it's just, and it was subtle. And some of them were big and some of them were subtle. And I just didn't like losing. I didn't want to lose a fight. And then I always wanted to make sure that you don't want to fight with me on this again. Does that make sense?
Right. And I'm going to make sure you don't want to fight with me on this again.
Because I'm going to do it.
I'm going to say something so painful that you are not going to want to fight. Don't even go there again.
Yeah. You know, like we say things to our spouses we wouldn't even say to our enemies.
I know.
It's tough.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
It's like you feel so comfortable to be so mean.
Yeah. And you know what's even worse? We say stuff to ourselves that's even worse than that.
Oh, all day long, right?
All day long, right? Absolutely. And so I started to identify that, and I was walking on the beach, and I was trying to figure out like what was going on, and I was writing question marks in the sand. Like, it's just, I never did that before. I was writing.
They look like this.
They look just like that, except they had sand. So I was writing these question marks in the sand, and then what happened was about 4 or 5 minutes later, I realized I wasn't upset at all. And I was like, well, this is really interesting. It's like, what? And I couldn't figure out what I was doing. And then I started writing another question. I was like, maybe it's the question. Maybe it's the question. And then this series of arguments and situations that I got into in my life, like 4 or 5 of them just poof popped up. You know, like you have like those, there's things that are like in your head that kind of float around and you don't have an answer for it. Well, like 4 or 5 of these things just answered, boom.
Wow.
And it was like, whoa. And I realized that there was a set of arguments or fights or conflicts that had gotten in my life that I got out completely by accident. And every single time was because either I asked a question, somebody asked a question, or somebody asked me a question. And it stopped everything. It shifted everything. And so I wanted to like figure that out.
Well, let me ask you, so you guys had your tiff fight and you left. Was that your typical pattern was to leave?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So because what I was wondering, was it because normally you stayed at home and it didn't get resolved, but it was typical for you to leave?
My wife and I are good at working through stuff. We always have been good at working through stuff. But it still doesn't mean that it doesn't escalate. Like it escalates and then we kind of work it out, you know. My wife's really smart. She's incredibly empathetic. She's incredibly loving. And we work through things, you know. But this shifted it. This completely shifted it because so then when I really realized that, I went home and she was in a room and she was on her iPad and I could tell she had been crying. And I asked her, I said, honey, I'm curious. Could you tell me what I did? And by now it's about 5:45. And she said yes, and she started telling me. And we went out to dinner that night. And I don't remember where we went, but we were talking for about 3 or 4 hours. And she told me everything that I've done. Like not everything, but all the stuff that I've done since I first met her.
Right.
Like you did this, and you did this, and you did this. But this was the difference. I was like looking at her and listening. I was like, yeah, tell me. Because I was curious, because I understood like what, and I didn't completely know it, but there was something that shifted. There was like the curiosity shifted everything. And what I discovered is curiosity creates safety and it creates respect. It does.
Oh, safety for the other person. Well, as well as yourself.
For both. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Think about that. Like if you're going to ask somebody a question, like if it's an authentic question.
I know Patty's going to write that one down. What was it? Curiosity.
She says, yes, Martine, I love it.
Wait, no, we're not there yet.
Oh.
Gold, Brandon.
Brandon, my boy, Brandon.
Gold in them are here.
I love it, Brandon. How you doing, brother? Yeah, I check that guy out all the time. He's awesome.
Was it what'd you say? Curiosity about safety.
So curiosity causes us immediately respect and safety immediately. Let's kind of talk through that.
Okay,
let's see if it's true.
Let's get a situation.
Yeah, let's get a situation. So there's different ways to ask people a question.
Do you want to talk about our TIFF?
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't remember it.
About our TIFF. You remember
what
it?
happened? Tell me.
Never mind. I'm gonna bring up old ones.
Yeah. And what happens is I resolve conflict. Like I resolve the situation with people. Like I go to heal and clean it up.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't, it's like not a memory. Like what I notice is things that we remember are things that are bugging us.
Well, see, because I remember because it was a great learning lesson for me.
Yeah.
So it's not that I remember. It was awesome because you were one of the first people in my life that I actually felt comfortable enough to confront. Because I've been going through, for the last 3 years, I've been going through my growth stage, and you just happened to come in at the time that I needed to start talking to people about things. And we talked about it, and it was awesome because I had the opportunity to say what I really felt, and I'd never felt that like that before. And like, I want to just a sidebar on that. I've been happily married to Scott, and we've been together for 29 years. Yeah. And it's not because I didn't feel comfortable with Scott. What it is I didn't feel comfortable with me.
Yes.
It had nothing to do with Scott, and Scott would have listened if I had said something throughout the last 29 years.
Yeah.
But I just wasn't ready yet, And then so Martine just happened to come in my life at a time that I was willing to confront somebody. And I did. We talked about something, and I got heated, and you were so calm and collected on the other side, which I'm thankful for, because it gave me the opportunity to voice myself, and I needed that.
Yeah.
And so thanks for that. So you're the best.
Thank you.
Well, you let me yell at you.
In the last chapter, at the very end of the book, we talk about you got mail.
Oh, but wait, there's more.
There's more.
Yeah, because if you had been the person you were before, you wouldn't have listened to me.
Oh, geez, I would have ate you up. You would have been, I would have dismissed you, and I would have made sure. That I destroyed you before you left. Like that's because it's not, it's because I don't want, and it's my protection mechanism. It's because I don't want to fight again. It's scary to fight. It's sad to fight. It's emotional. It's not fun. Mm-hmm. Like me, I'm getting like a little choked up because I hated fighting. I didn't want to fight, but the way I learned it is okay. If I destroy you, then the chances of you coming back are slim to none.
Wow.
And so that's how I protected myself. So it's like I'm serving myself in it. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, well, it's not noble or anything, but it's understandable. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
it's understandable.
I certainly do. Yeah. Because we all have coping mechanisms, whatever they are. And that happened to be yours. And that wasn't mine. No, thank goodness, because I have not been in a fight because I'm too scared. But smart. So I haven't been in that kind of situation, but I had my own coping mechanisms, and so just very interesting. I love that you sharing that.
I say fight, and I say fight because where I grew up, like my business partner.
You grew up here in San Diego.
Yeah, but I go down by the border, so.
Yeah, by me.
Yeah, by you. Well, you're here. I'm on the other side of the tracks.
Oh, no. I was on the side.
You're on the side of the track.
Yeah, he and I are like a same district, school district, and everything. Yeah.
So I grew up, a lot of my friends.
Saxophone.
That's right. I was a band geek,
but
I hung out with a lot of gang members, and a lot of my friends were gang members. So I learned, I had learned different type of coping mechanisms when I was a kid. But like what you said is when we were talking, what I say in the book and how I summarize the book. This is the end. This is like the end of the book. Is there's a movie called we're gonna go to the end. This is the good stuff. There's a movie called You Got Mail. Remember that?
Yep.
Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. And Tom Hanks talks about The Godfather. It's not personal, it's business. And you know what? Meg Ryan says, it's personal to me. Mm-hmm. And this is the thing, it's always personal to someone. Like people say that people talk about business. It's business. It's like, no, it's personal. You might look at numbers, but those numbers mean something to you. People die for those numbers. People go to war for those numbers. People watch those numbers and protect those numbers. The only reason you do that is because it's personal.
That's interesting. That begs a question about, I'm curious.
See how it works?
Exactly. Well, that begs a question about, in business, there are some people who, like they start their business, it's their baby. And like, I could never imagine selling my baby. Mm-hmm. But then there's others like, okay, I'm just going to go into this thing and I'm not going to have any emotional attachment to it. I'm going to do this as just a business venture because I already know what my exit strategy is. My exit strategy is in 5 years. And so I'm not going to get emotionally attached.
Sure.
So do you see that, how would you throw that into the curiosity theory?
That's a mechanism. I mean, it's a mechanism. Like saying I'm not going to have any emotion is an emotional response. It's like in the curiosity theory, we start off with yum and yuck. We start off with the emotions of yum and yuck. If you like it, yum. If you don't like it, yuck.
Well, what about yum and yummer?
Yum and yummer. I love that. That's awesome.
And Patty says, I needed this today. Awesome. Oh, she wants to know who your mentors are also. Wow. So we have a couple questions coming up. We'll come back to that. Absolutely. So sorry to interrupt you. Okay, so go back.
So we talk about yum and yuck. And a lot of times I'll coach CEOs and I'll coach big guys, I coach athletes too. And their feelings are, they don't have this vocabulary here. So
they don't have feelings.
This is a feelings vocabulary. All
vocabulary.
These are feelings when your needs are being met, and all these are feelings when your needs are not being met. So a lot of people don't have all those feelings. They just don't have it as a structure the way they put themselves together. And so we say, okay, was it a yum or a yuck? And they go, it was a yuck. I said, great, that's good enough. Because you can identify a yum or a yuck. And so when we're talking about people that are saying,
when you talk about the yum and yuck, is that from here, from the gut, from where? Like, where are they supposed to be feeling this yum or yuck?
Well, you feel it wherever you feel it.
Okay, but they can tap into wherever it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we can identify if something is not pleasant for us.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. This doesn't work for me. Well, what does that feel like? Well, that's yuck. This totally works for me. How's that? It's yum. Right?
It's yum and yummer.
And so your question is like, where do we feel it? We feel it physically. Like emotions have a physical manifestation, and needs are the identification of those physical manifestations. So human needs are what the emotions are telling you are being met or not. So the want is a want, but you don't know that it's a want until you have an emotion about it. And it could be as simple as yum and yuck.
True. So now if we were to use that information in a situation, like say, for example, you and I were talking earlier about a service that I can provide for you.
Yes.
And we were talking about the sales aspect of it in a way, right? So coach me on how I should communicate with you on selling this service to you.
Okay. So I'm going to be real. So if you know me, I'm real. I'm super real. So this is what happened. So I asked you because you do bots, right? And then I was like, I need a bot. I need somebody to put a bot together for my program. Like, I need to do that. Like, I don't have time to do that. So I said, what do you charge to do that? And then you answered. So then who was on the spot? Me. So ask me how I felt.
Oh, how did you feel?
Okay. So then what I use, and we use this in my house, this feelings chart we have in my house.
Well, let's see, you have 2 sons?
I have 2 boys. I have teenagers.
How old are they?
17 or 18 and 15.
Okay, 18 and 15. How long have you been using this chart in your house?
About 3 years.
Really? And have you noticed a difference? Because they're now teenagers, but they were like on the verge of teenagers. So you've noticed a big difference in them. Well, your boys are really good already. So.
They're good boys. Well, they know how to identify their feelings, and they know how to identify their needs.
Okay, awesome.
So what we do is, what we're going to do is, I'm going to walk through this chart. I wish I should have given you a chart to show. So let's say the feeling I experience, and I'm just going to look for it, because what I do is I want to identify, because I want to investigate my own feelings. Like, what did I feel? I actually got a little nervous.
You did?
Yeah, I got nervous.
That's good to know.
Because and it's nervous because I can
never see you as nervous. That's why. So for me, it's like, okay, he's normal. He's human.
No, I got nervous because it's like, oh my God, I'm going to have to spend money.
Oh,
you see?
Okay. See, I hadn't even thought about that.
So, and that's what happens. And it's the ability. So the curiosity theory is the ability to identify that. So creating safety and respect has somebody be able to say that, because I'm not going to tell you I'm nervous if I don't feel safe with you.
Right.
True.
That's right.
I'm not going to tell you I'm sad or I'm agitated or I'm uncomfortable. I'm not going to reveal my emotions.
Like, I'm shocked. You actually want me to pay?
Exactly. So human beings are not going to reveal our emotions for the most part. We may throw emotions out, but a lot of times we throw them out is how we protect ourselves. Like, dropping F-bombs or cursing or doing some of that stuff or snapping. Those are strategies. See, saying like F you is a strategy that says that you have a need that's not being met. Oh,
interesting.
Right?
So somebody says that to you, which fortunately they don't say that to me very often.
Yeah.
But when somebody says that to you, instead of looking at it and getting all defensive and angry, look at it and say, what is their need?
Yeah.
And how can I meet it?
Yeah. Well, how can they meet it?
Well, how can they meet it? Okay.
Because it's not my job to meet their needs.
Well, it's not my job but what if I have the solution?
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's right.
Yeah.
Like maybe I have the solution to help
them meet their need. Yeah.
But how many times has this happened to you? It's happened to me, not a lot of times, but where something's all messed up on my, like a credit card bill, and I call the company and and I get on hold for a long time. And by the time I finally get there, I'm like, oh, it's just so like, I've been on hold for 45 minutes. You guys transfer me to 3 different departments. I'm like, by then I'm like angry. At the beginning, I was like, I'm going to call and I'm going to get it reversed or whatever. And then at that time, getting all transferred all over the place. Now I'm frustrated. Yes. I have these feelings that I don't really want to have. So that person takes the brunt of it.
Yes.
Because they pick up the phone.
Yes.
Well, my only need that I really need at that point is I understand how you're feeling, right? Yes. That's what I need. I just need you to understand that I'm frustrated.
Yes. So what you said is perfect. So to be understood is a need. Frustration is an emotion that is the manifestation of a need being met or not. When you're understood, how do you feel?
I feel good. I feel yum.
Find a word.
I feel yum.
Find a word. So when you're understood, how do you feel?
When I'm understood, okay, and which
this is so good.
But understood is very important for me.
Absolutely,
extremely, because when I grew up, it was a household of kids are better seen than heard. We were stifled. We weren't allowed to talk. So I didn't have anybody listening to me. Mm-hmm. So right now, it's still very important to me, right? So I want to say that when I am, probably a lot of these, I'm delighted.
That's awesome.
I am delighted when I'm understood.
So I never use the word delighted.
Me neither. But now that I see it here, I'm like, wow, I actually feel delighted. That's how I feel.
But see, this is the beauty of words, is I don't have to use that word to understand what that word means to you. See, so now I understand that if you're understood, you're going to feel delighted. And I would love for you to feel delighted.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a beautiful word, right? So in our relationship, I want you to feel delighted.
Aww.
Do you see how
I want you to feel, I don't know what a word. I want you to feel inspired.
I do. Thank you.
You do.
So what you do is you start to learn people's vocabulary. And then those words are telling about emotions. And like, why not help somebody have that emotion? Because they're so beautiful, right?
Yeah.
And so this is where empathy goes in. Because I don't use delighted doesn't mean that I can't connect with delighted. And I can find joy in your delight, but I don't have to feel the delight because I'm going to find joy. I'm going to find my emotion. And I'm going to connect.
That is somewhat similar or connects to that other emotion.
Then absolutely.
Oh, okay.
So my emotion of joy gets to see your expression of delight, and they dance. And I don't have to feel delighted. And you don't have to feel joy.
I love that.
But you get to feel what you feel, and I get to feel what I feel. Let's go dance.
Let's go
dance. You see how that works?
One of us would be dancing the tango while the other was dancing the hustle.
Exactly.
I love that song.
We played that in band. We marched that in band. That's the worst song to play.
You guys did that in marching band?
In junior high.
Oh my God. We didn't do that one.
We did that in junior high in the 70s. I was the 70s.
That's so funny.
I'm old.
Okay, so the chart. They want the chart. The chart could help with teens. Are you willing to?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have any free thing they can have today?
Yeah, there's two. Actually, I'll have the chart up this weekend. And if you come to my program, I'll give you the chart. So, yeah, and the program is, can we talk about that real quick?
Yes, of course. So this chart could help with my household.
Absolutely.
And we know you say LOL, but we know you don't mean it.
Yeah.
Because it really can. This type of chart. So my husband and I went through some kind of program like this, not yours, but it was a long time ago. And this, just knowing the words that each other uses to communicate is so huge.
Huge. It's everything.
It can change a bad relationship into a good relationship.
Oh, amazing. And there's so much behind it. There's language. There's vibrations. It's like words have vibrations. Love, God.
I can feel the vibration.
You see, but listen to this. Listen to the vibration of love, God, Jehovah. They vibrate the same. Right? The devil doesn't have that same sound. So when we made words up, when human beings made words up, they made words that vibrated. So when we have delight, that word does something. It vibrates inside there. Joy vibrates for me. It doesn't have to vibrate for somebody. And then when we start talking about needs, which is this whole other thing that we're talking about, which is this other chart right here, the starts of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. When we start to look at the needs that we experience, and we start to attach those, we literally start to see how our DNA works, how our human DNA. You were talking about being understood, to understand and be understood. That is a love and belonging need. So with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you had survival, safety, love and belonging, self-esteem, and self-transcendence, self-actualization. So you had that. So what we do, what I've done in the curiosity theory is I've taken that chart and I've identified the needs that fit in every one of those areas. And what you learn to do is you learn to see where people are. See, because if I understand that you're dealing with a love and belonging, that has to do with love and belonging, which means if I do not meet that need or help you meet that need for being understood, our relationship is with regard to how we're connected in a group or friends, it's going to say something. It's going to hurt that because that's not good. That's what you need.
Right.
And I'm not going to convince you not that being understood is a dumb. Linda, being understood is really not a very important thing. You're like, what are you talking about? It's in you, right?
Right.
And that's
very important for me.
Yeah. And I might not have that one.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I've discovered, like, I recently brought on an intern. Oh, and I should have had him come here today.
I'd love to meet him.
So I brought on this intern, and it was important for me to share with him my needs. And I shared that. I said, communication is number one for me. Because if I know that you're not going to be able to finish something, I don't get mad that you can't finish it. I get mad when you don't tell me you can't finish it, and then you don't finish it.
Absolutely.
Right. So that's one of my very important needs is communication.
And the level at which you communicate is going to identify the level in Maslow's hierarchy that you're because communication as a friend or family or an organization is one, but then communication with regard to self-esteem, like how well do I communicate, right? And then if you even go higher, where I'm really trying to make a difference in the world, communication becomes now at the level at which I can communicate is going to be the level at which I can make a difference in the world. So even these words that we use are all going to have meanings in different situations. Our ability to understand the emotions that we experience and the needs that are connected to those emotions are happening every second in every interaction. So what should we learn? We should learn, not should, because I don't really want to say should, but it would be a great advantage to us to learn the language of emotions and needs so that as we go through life ourselves, we can identify what we're going through, and then we can identify what our kids are going through or our customers are going through.
Well, let me ask you.
Yeah.
What if you're doing this, and then say the other parties, they're not involved in this, so they don't understand.
They don't have to be.
So, but how do you ensure that? I don't really know my question very well. I guess like you said, you don't have to be. They don't have to be involved, but I feel like I'm having just like a regular conversation where like,
I have those all the time.
Normally I have questions. I have good questions normally, but I guess I'm just wondering, like, how do you make sure that? I guess sometimes you're not going to meet their needs.
Yeah.
And sometimes
Absolutely.
you're not going to be able to figure it out because maybe they're not speaking a language that is understandable enough to you, right? Maybe.
Well, yeah. And so the first part of the program is
don't beat your head against the wall. Is what I'm saying. It's like, when do you stop beating your head against the wall?
I don't think we ever do. I don't think we ever do.
Okay.
I don't think what we're going to find in life is like we're perfect and we connect well with everybody. I don't think that's going to happen.
Right.
I just don't. I think I have a great relationship with my wife. I have a great relationship with all my friends, but yet I do experience conflict. And as I speak to people, whether they are, a PE teacher or they're a professional athlete or they're a CEO of a company, they have exactly the same needs and feelings that I have in the exact same situations that I have. I mean, I don't think I've ever told anybody the story about my wife and I trying to figure out what we're going to eat for dinner on Friday, that we got in an argument. And they're like, that happens to be Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Right,
Yeah.
And so
lucky
for you, it was only Friday.
Exactly. So human beings, we're the same. And if we can find the identifiers that connect us to our humanity, and we can actually like learn to like embrace that, it gives us so much more power and so much more. It just gives us so much more power in our own lives and so much freedom.
That's true. Freedom is what it's all about.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us about your course.
Okay. So the course is designed as a 2-day course. It's a long course. And
that's not long.
It's a lot of work.
Learn how to communicate with people.
Exactly. But right now we're only doing it as a half-day course. We're only doing this 4-hour course. And so the 2-day course is $1,000. The half-day course is $497. But right now we're doing it for $97. $97.
We were supposed to do $297. What happened?
Yeah, no, I
softy.
I know. I was like, let's do it 70. So this is how if you want to do it, you type in, you go to thecuriositytheory.com and you go register. The next course is December 2nd, and then I'm gonna have one January 13th. And type in Linda.
With a Y?
Linda, Lynda.
Yeah, Lynda.
And it'll go from $497 down to $97.
Oh, awesome. You guys get a $400 discount by using my name.
This is the thing. I only have room for 15 people.
Okay. Where is it held? It's here in San Diego.
It's going to be at the at Chicago Title. They have a conference room on the 6th floor. It's in Mission Valley.
Oh, in Mission Valley. Okay.
In Mission Valley.
Okay.
It's a great room.
I used to work at Chicago Title.
Did you really?
Yeah, in downtown. Yeah.
Oh, that's the big plant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'll tell you just really quick, a little joke I used to play on the UPS guy. He would bring his cart. I was a receptionist at that time. So he would bring his cart and he would set it up front. And then he would go walk around the packages and stuff. And so I would just like push his cart in the elevator and push all the buttons. He would go for a ride on every floor. He was like, Linda. Everywhere.
This is the thing about it.
Anyway.
If you register for one of the first 3 courses, then you'll be grandfathered for my online stuff forever.
For the Grand Poobah?
For the Grand Poobah.
Oh,
and
awesome.
my 2-day course, you'll be able to get in, and you'll just pay for the material, which is probably going to be like $40-$50.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And the 97, I lose money at the $97 to put this on.
Yeah, that's why I said $297.
Yeah, I know.
I told him $297, but you just too.
But see this. Okay, so you want me to tell you why I do it at 97?
Okay, go ahead.
Because I was scared to charge $297.
So what emotion were you feeling?
I was scared. It was fear. It was fear. It was fear.
It was fear.
Yeah.
Fear. It really is. Fear is debilitating.
Yeah.
Fear can stop us from doing so many things, living life, and because the thing is we talk about value, but we'll talk about that in another show. Okay, so let's see. Patty has a question here. Oh, Chantel wants to know, is it an online course?
It will be. It will be. And what I'm doing at the courses right now is recording the videotape, and then those will be then on the online. So if you come to.
So if she bought the 97 now, even though she doesn't attend in person, she has it for.
You'll be in the course. You'll be on the courses. And I'll start to upload them probably this weekend or next weekend.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Well, that's good. Let's see what else we have here.
And these lists will be on, the new list will be in there.
New list will be in there?
The new list will be there.
Awesome. So Patty says, I get so excited, interested, and curious that sometimes people have felt that I was interrogating. How do you deal with this? And before you answer that, my husband used to say, you're so nosy, because I'm very curious.
Yeah.
So what I realized when talking to you is that I'm just curious, which makes me a good person to interview people because I'm very curious.
Yeah.
And a lot of questions come up when I'm talking to people.
Oh, when we did Thrive Talks, everybody crazy how good you interview people. Yeah, you got to put those interviews on your.
I know. I need to. I have a lot of things I need to do. I have my intern.
Well, I'll send them to you. Have them call me and I'll get them to you.
I have the videos. I just need to do them.
Oh, absolutely. Okay.
So it's interesting. I'm going to have them go through all my videos.
That's awesome.
And then do some B-roll and stuff.
That's awesome. That's so cool. So the question is.
That's a great question. So she gets so excited, interested, and curious that sometimes people have felt like she was interrogating them. So how do you deal with that?
Well, this is the thing about the curiosity theory. It's an idea. So I don't want to assume what you were doing. I would want to know what you were doing and what your intention was. Like, what was your need?
Like for her asking all the questions?
Yeah, for her asking the questions. Because if I tell you what it was, I'm going to tell you from my perspective. See, but if I can tell, but if I can guess, I can guess at it. But I don't want to assume that I know what it is. So
okay, because I do the same thing, Pat.
So
I'm exactly the same. And so that is a
I want to ask you a question. So let's do it this way. You ask me the question, ask me that question, and I'll walk you through the curiosity theory.
You know, Martine, I get so excited and interested and curious that sometimes people think I'm interrogating them. Like, how do I deal with that?
Okay, that's cool. So you get excited and curious and all that. Okay. So when you're talking to people, what need of yours are you do you have? Like, what need are you fulfilling by your conversation?
By me asking them a bunch of questions?
Like what's the need that you're...
Well, I feel like it's just my need is to have...
I'm going to ask you to actually find a need.
Curious questions.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to actually ask her to find a need here. So when you're interviewing people, I want to know what the need is. Yeah, you keep
talking.
So she's what she's going to do is identify the need. Okay. It's important to identify the need because the first thing is we want to know inside ourselves what need are we meeting by the thing we're doing. Because if we don't know what's in us, like why we're doing what we're doing, then somebody else telling us their emotions is simply like a projection, and that can knock us off. So then what we're doing is we give up our needs to what we're trying to do. So if what you're trying to do is understand people, if what you're trying to do is connect with people, if what you're trying to do is establish intimacy or whatever that is, and then that need gets taken away from you because you're trying to meet somebody else's need for maybe, you know what, I just don't want to hear you. And maybe they're tired, maybe they have a headache. You don't know what's going on with them. And now you've given up what you really want for your life. And how do you feel? Because now you're going to have a need that's not being met. And you're now going to have a yuck feeling, right? Yeah. So what happens is then we have this domino effect. So you have these, that's how fights escalate. So it's like, okay, well, now I don't get what I want. Okay, now you want me to make you dinner? Yeah, I'm not making you dinner. And now you're hungry, and now you're like, and now you're in a bad mood, and I'm in a bad mood. And then now what are you going to do back to me this time, right? It's like, okay, I'm going to take longer. You're going to take longer in the bathroom, and when you're taking off your makeup and all that, right? And I'm like, I got to brush my teeth, And so that's how fights escalate. So.
Well, let me answer the question. So my need on this, because I was really trying to think about this. It fits into 3 different sections here, which is clarity. Because it's like a question and you say something and I have this question that comes to mind. It's to get clear and understanding, so it's really a clear understanding of what you're saying so that I can communicate better with you. It's like I have the need to understand what you're saying so I can better communicate with you.
That's wonderful. So this is the really interesting thing. We're not that complex as human beings. You're going to use the word understand and clarity all the time. And if you listen to people, isn't your husband kind of use the same words all the time? It's not like he all of a sudden shows up with like a new vocabulary, right? Not really. Mm-hmm. So we're men. We say the same jokes, right?
Oh my God. The same stories.
The same stories.
Like, oh my gosh.
So we operate inside of a series of stories.
What is the need of that? Like, why do you need to say the same stories?
It's connecting.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, I connect. I use stories to connect with people.
But the same story over and over and over again?
It doesn't matter. I still want to connect.
Okay.
Yeah. See,
well, that's good for me to know.
Yeah. So I say the same jokes just because I haven't learned some new jokes, and I say the same stories because I haven't got a new story, and that's the one I tell good, and that's how I connect. See, because as I'm speaking and telling you my story, I'm connecting with you.
You know what's interesting about that? Oh my gosh, so curious. Okay, so Scott does tell the same stories over and over and over ad nauseum to the point that I can tell the story for him. Yeah. And sometimes he goes, have I told you this before? I'm like, only like 1,000 times. So I probably shouldn't say that because now I'm belittling a little, right? Okay, so I'll stop doing that. But what's interesting is I just thought of something, like maybe the reason why he's chosen these specific stories is because the first time he told them to whoever it was he told it to, they were like, that's so funny, oh my God. So now it's like he wants that emotion to come up each time, right? Yeah. Oh, so now I can understand and be more appreciative of his stories.
Yeah, and so
for him.
Exactly. And so if he's trying to get that feeling, and you know what the emotion is.
And if I'm saying, really?
Yeah.
He's not able to get that.
Yeah.
His need is to have that emotion again.
Yes.
Oh my God, this is awesome.
Isn't it cool? So this is how it works in business. I'm sitting in front of a husband and a wife and a wife, a husband and a husband, whoever, doesn't matter. I'm sitting in front of 2 people, And what almost every person does is they focus on one person. Why? Because that's where they connect. The other person gets left out. They get up and they walk away, and you don't get the sale. Why? Because the person that got left out didn't get their needs met. And what do they say when they get in the car? Hey, Martine was such a jerk. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't trying to ignore him or her. I didn't connect because I didn't know what to connect with. Mm-hmm. Now, when you use empathy tells me what to connect with. Delight. So you say, oh my God, it's delightful. This is absolutely delightful to hang out with you tonight. Those words, they ring for people.
So how do you find those words from the people?
People will say them. People will say them.
Okay.
But this is the problem. This is what we teach in the curiosity theory, is they say the words through meanings. They say their meanings, not the words. So it gets really confusing.
Yeah, I can see how that can get.
So what are the meanings? Meanings are words that are not feelings or needs. They're different words, like abandoned. Abandoned is a description. So when you're describing something, but there's an emotion and a need behind it. So if I use the word abandoned, like, you abandoned me, what do you think the need I have would be?
The need for connection.
Could be, yeah.
Community.
Yeah, exactly.
There could be a whole bunch of different things.
What do you think I feel if I'm saying, you abandoned me?
Yuck.
Yuck, exactly. All you got to know is yum or yuck. Mm-hmm. You know? Because it's not good. You know, I wouldn't,
yeah.
And it's not even that you need to even say a word.
Sad.
Yeah.
When I hear somebody like, you abandoned me, that makes me sad.
Yeah. And see, now I know what sad feels like, so I know what you're talking about. That's the connection. I know what sad is. You just said sad. I know what that word is. I don't have to do anything with it. And that's where empaths, if there's an empath out there, tell me if I'm right or wrong, and I don't mind being wrong. That's where empaths have trouble, because the empath is able to grabs onto that word. When I work with empaths, I'm saying separate yourself from that and identify the thing like that you have. I understand sad, but I can't help you if I'm feeling you're sad.
Right.
Because your sad is your sad. And I respect your emotions and I respect your needs. And if I keep eyeing you, I keep bringing the me into it. Mm-hmm. Is that you? Or is that about you? Or is that about me?
I don't know. It's about me, I guess.
It's about me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happens and that's where that tunnel, or that they go down the road, is the empaths, is a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them feel the need to feel that, because that's where they can get close. And what I'm saying is you've now impeded on their emotion. Mm-hmm. Let them have the dignity of their emotion.
Yeah.
You felt sad? I got it. You felt sad. I just got it. Like, I can be empathy about sadness. I don't have to feel sad, because if I really want to be in service to you, if you're being in service to somebody, and you're about clarity, and you are clear that I'm sad, you're gonna operate at your highest level. You're gonna be able to operate powerfully. Now, if I'm saying I feel really sad, and you have a need for clarity.
Yeah, mine's gonna, like, how can I help, kind of, right?
Exactly.
So my need for clarity, and for the other word I use, I can't remember.
Understanding and connection.
Yeah, so I have this need to understand, to see if there's a way that I can serve you.
Exactly.
That's it. For me, it always goes back to service. Like, how can I best serve this person?
Boom, it's done. You see how you didn't have to feel it.
Yeah.
And you can really serve it, because because you've separated yourself from it. And what we've been taught is to be sympathetic. You're sad, so now I have to do something and put my arm around you and hold you. You haven't asked me for that.
Right. So what need do I have that I have to hold you, right?
Exactly. Now I'm going to go meet one of my needs.
That is so interesting.
So now I'm trying to get comfort. It's like, oh wow,
right. Like,
that sucks. What were we talking about? Me?
I need to feel comfortable because you're sad. So I'm going to lay myself on you so that I will feel comfortable.
Exactly.
It's not so you won't feel sad.
It's nothing to do with me.
It really is like that's the desire, is that you won't feel sad anymore. I can take your sadness from you, but it's not going to happen.
And that's noble. It doesn't work.
Right.
It doesn't work. And there's a book called I don't want to talk about it. And it talks about male depression. Male depression, like men are actually more depressed than women. And it's substantially, like men experience depression like way more than women. And but there's a book called I Don't Want to Talk About It. In the book, it talks about how kids take on their parents' emotions as though they can heal that emotion. My mom and dad are fighting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to feel my mom's emotion. I'm going to try so that my dad stops fighting with my mom. You see what I'm saying?
That's what I grew up as.
Okay, exactly. So then you've now embodied an emotion that's not even yours. And you don't even know if it's your mom's.
Right.
Right? And so what happens is we like get functionally like messed up. We're dysfunctional and we don't even know why we're doing that. But that's beautiful. Like a little kid's like want to protect his daddy and his mommy. But the little kid, it's way too much responsibility for a child. Yeah. And in the book, it talks about that. And it's like I did it. I did it with my dad and my mom and my uncles and different people. It's like, whoa, it's like way too much emotion for a 10-year-old to take on.
Definitely.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like, so now I'm carrying that the rest of my life. The book separates that. And so when you start to identify and get like really clear about needs and feelings, it's like, whoa, there's a freedom in that. And there's power in that. And there's respect in that. And there's safety in that. Because it's safe, because you can be sad and you're safe. You're safe. You know what? You want to cry? You do it, because I'm going to make sure nobody comes in this room and messes with you, because I know what it's like to cry. And when I don't like to cry, but I'm certainly not going to cry when a lot of people are knocking on the door. So if you make it safe here, then maybe I'll cry.
Do you still like to win? But not at all costs, though.
Yeah.
Not at all costs.
But I see myself winning. Different. I can see myself winning.
Yeah. But you win when you open up communication. I mean, it's just the win right there.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what this is. You learn to do your number in service to yourself and in service to other people. So when I win, so now it's at what level can I understand my wife? At what level can I like my wife? My wife's words are huge: security, stability, structure, and support. Huge, huge, huge. My wife says, she goes, I just got to know you support me. And I'm like, okay. And sometimes I don't even know what that word is. Right, exactly. Like, I don't even know what she means.
Like what it means to her, right?
Yeah. And I go, honey, I just want you to know I'm really supporting you today. And you know what she does? She's so happy.
Isn't that funny? It really doesn't take much. It's just understanding.
Yeah. It's just like, you just want to be understood.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you were really understandable today.
Well, one thing I learned about my husband is he just wants to say something and be heard. And so I realized is what I used to do, Martine. Oh my God, I was so bad. Is if I was on my computer and he was talking to me, I would just kind of like, really? I'm working. Yeah. Like, I didn't say that, but that was the look. Yeah. And then so now what I do is I say, hold on just a second. Give me 2 minutes to finish up what I'm doing. And then you'll have my full attention.
Boom.
And it works because I do 2 minutes or less. And then I just walk away from the computer and he has my full 100% undivided attention. Absolutely. And that's huge for him. Yeah. Like, that's all he needed. Like we were having some little stuff going on, rocky edges. And that was all it was.
Yeah.
That was all it was.
Just acknowledge me. Just take a minute and acknowledge me. Tell me that like I'm important. Like I know I'm bugging you.
Exactly.
I know I'm bugging you. I'm smart enough to know I'm bugging you because I'm the one bugging you.
I'm going to have a sign that says "Do not disturb." Or it's not on my back.
Did we answer that question for?
Okay. Yeah. So that was Patty's. Yeah.
Did we answer that, Patty?
I think so.
I just felt like I was interrogating and how. I think, Patty, the thing is what I would do is I would identify what need and what feelings you have in that, and then identify, is it your partner or whoever you're with, identify what needs are. Like, so when somebody says, what was the word? Can I see that again?
Oh, she said excited, interesting.
But I want to hear what the other thing is. I felt like I was interrogating. So this is the thing about language. And you wrote, I felt like I was interrogating.
No. She said people have felt like I was
People have felt like, so
she's not saying that she felt it.
So in the curiosity theory, people can't feel like they're interrogating, because interrogating isn't a feeling, it's a description of something. So if interrogating to me could mean that that I'm feeling like maybe it's overwhelmed, it might be the emotion or the need to have space, or the need to be understood, or the need to be whatever that person's need are. So understanding the need of the person is going to take that being interrogating away from them. See, that's the word you used. If you got to find the word that they use and find out what that word means for them.
So what if, in this situation, what if somebody said, I feel like you're interrogating me. Why are you interrogating me? How do
so
you,
I'm going to stop for a second.
How would you stop back and you would say, how would you find out what their need was?
So I'm going to stop for a second. So I'm going to do it like half speed. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm stopping and I'm connecting with what you said. And if I didn't hear it, I'm going to say, can you tell me that again? I'm sorry. Would you say that again? So say it again.
Oh, I feel like you're interrogating me all the time. Now I'm mad at you because you asked me again.
So
no,
I'm curious.
Feel like you're
are you
interrogating me.
Yeah, I got that. So so can you tell me a little bit more about that? Like, what do you mean? Like, what did I do?
Well, just you're asking me so many questions. I mean, haven't I given you enough information? Mm-hmm. This is not going to be my sound bites, by the way.
That's great. That's great. Yeah.
Don't you feel like I give you everything I got? I mean, how many more questions are you going to ask me?
I've got about 7 more questions. I can stop right now. Would you like me to?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Thank you. I really apologize for that. It's like
that was good.
I'm not interested in myself. I'm interested in you. So I don't know how to do this. This is the thing about curiosity. There's not a way to do curiosity. There's not like do this, you're going to be fine. Mm-hmm. It's be curious and you'll stay connected.
Be curious and you'll stay connected.
Yeah.
So that's like, I like that's like the your anthem.
Yeah. Be curious.
Well, yours is stay curious, my friend.
Yeah.
Isn't that yours?
Stay curious. So like a lot of times, like people will ask me questions and they'll go, well, what do you do with this? And I'm saying, but you're asking me for a strategy. I'm not teaching you a strategy. What I'm teaching is a way to understand like what's going on here and then be empathetic to what's going on over there. Mm-hmm. So I'm going, as you're doing that, I have a choice. I can be defensive or I can be curious. I can fight you right now and tell you you're wrong, or I can like go, oh, how am I feeling? I'm feeling attacked now. Okay. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I know you're not attacking me. I know you're not.
Good point. Because in that scenario, you were asking me too many questions in my mind, right? So I'm saying I'm feeling attacked. So now I have the need to attack you back.
Yes.
And now you're feeling attacked.
Yes.
But it could have been
escalate.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So the strategy is to stay curious.
Stay curious, my friend. That's a strategy. But he teaches you how to do that. Yeah, I was interested in what the person's business was. You mean Martine? Yeah, I need to put your name up on.
I'm in the mortgage business.
Here,
I'm in the real estate business. Talk about, conflict. Because I work with real estate agents every day. I work with probably 15, 16 real estate agents literally every day, and then all their clients. So what I experience is their anxiety, their desire to have to make money to be able to put food on their table, and how they experience everything, how they experience their clients, how their clients are talking to them, how the fear of losing a client, all that stuff. I deal with all that. So when I'm talking to a real estate agent or I'm talking to a customer, I'm looking for what is their need? What are they expressing? What is their situation? And if they're anxious, like I want to know what's behind the anxiety.
Right.
Is it, it's coming on the holidays. So do you have enough money to pay your bills? Do you have enough money to buy presents for everybody? Mm-hmm. And it's like, wow, I want to be empathetic to that. Like, because I know what it's like to not have enough money. Like we all do, right? Mm-hmm. Times we didn't have enough money. And so if this person, that's where they're coming from and they're talking fast or they're being anxious, I want to be able to help volley that ball with them and go, okay, well, let's figure out a strategy to get this thing done.
Yeah.
Versus you need to calm down and stop talking to me like that, right? Well, what's that going to do? That doesn't help anybody. Mm-hmm. So it's the ability to take what people are giving you. Like when you're giving me that thing you're giving me, it's like, that's nothing to do with me. But for you, it's personal. But it's not personal for me.
That was a huge realization for me that I need to stop taking on other people's emotions, especially if they're low emotions.
Yeah.
You know, like heightened emotions, whether they're
fun.
Positive or negative.
The yums are fun to take on.
The yums are fun, yeah. But still, even sometimes the yums can be too high that I'm not ready. Like I didn't lift up.
Yeah.
Like they're like woo, and I'm like whoop. Sometimes it's hard to match that yum because it's so heightened and I just can't get there very fast.
Exactly. Well, somebody go to seminars and the music's cranking up and everybody's pumping up and they want you to get pumped up and you're like, I just woke up, man. I'm just like, I don't want to dance in front of everybody, you know? And now I feel embarrassed because now I'm not dancing and now everybody's dancing. I'm not. So we are going through something. We're just
a ball of emotions.
We are, and we are going through stuff every second, and not one thing. We are going through multiple. We're going through every time we see another person. There's something that happens in interaction. The music goes up. There's something that happens with that. The ability to understand that and understand what's going on with ourselves is going to give us the ability to focus and get aligned with ourselves and then get aligned with other people.
This is great to teach in like junior high school and high school, especially so they can get a jump on communicating, right? I mean, with anybody, just having communication.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see what we got here. We're almost done here, Martine. I know you're getting tired.
I could keep talking.
Okay, I know you can. Let's see. Maybe they were put on the spot. Not sure. They said interrogated.
That's great. So I would, Patty, what I would do is I would ask them to share a little bit more about what they mean by that. Can you share with me what you mean by interrogated?
Well, I just feel like I gave you all the information you need. I don't understand why you need more information.
So tell me a little bit more.
Well, now you're bugging me. Too many questions.
People are going to want to talk about themselves. People are always going to want to talk about listen, have you ever seen somebody that was annoyed or upset?
Yes.
That didn't want to talk about that? They're going to talk about it until they're done with it. So if you're like, seriously, if this was a real interaction and you were really annoyed or upset,
they'll keep going even though they're not.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
Because the more you share with me, you're going to tell me your emotions. You're going to show me your needs, and I'm just going to hear your needs and your emotions because you're going to say that.
Yeah, that's true. Because eventually, maybe that conversation might go to something like, what you were asking me. It just brought up too many memories that I don't really want to talk about. Is it okay if we don't talk about? Why do you have to ask all these questions? They bring up all these bad memories, right? So it could be something like that. I mean, you just don't know where it's going to go, but So that's true. And so instead of fighting back with them, just have a little bit of empathy, but don't take on their emotion, right? Is that what it's all about?
Yeah. This is so if you go rewind the tape for the last 30 seconds, this is what happens. She talks and I go, okay. And I go, yes. She talks and I go, this. Because that's where people need to express themselves. People don't get the opportunity to do that. So when they do it, when you give them the opportunity, they will do it. And they have it inside themselves to solve their own problems. People can do it themselves. And
if they know the right questions to ask themselves.
And that's what curiosity just opens up those questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see here. So we've got the curiositytheory.com. You guys go there. That's where they go.
Thecuriositytheory.com.
And then the program, type in for the discount, the $400 off.
$400 off.
$400 off. You have to type Linda, Lynda. You got to spell my name right, otherwise you don't get a discount. Yeah, so that starts December. What day did you say?
I have one. 2nd. It's December 2nd, and you're going to go to the December 2nd one.
I believe so.
And then I have
January 13th.
So January 13th.
January 13th.
And then the 2-day one I think is going to be in March.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
cool.
2 days in March.
It can't be.
And that's going to be $1,000. It's $1,000. So if you come to this one, you get grandfathered in all of them. You can go to all my programs.
Awesome. You guys, that's huge. Yeah. So go ahead and do that. Go over there and then you'll get the chart. And then again, even if you don't attend in person, it still will give you the online version.
If you want the chart, you know what? How about just send private message. Send me a private message. I'll send you the charts.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's not like my chart. Like I'm gonna hold like if you can use it. Like here, I'll send it to you. Absolutely.
You don't get the chart.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna put the chart on for you can just grab it online, but
Okay.
I got to,
You got to do that, right?
You got to do that. You need manpower.
So he needs an intern.
I need an intern.
An intern who understands him. Okay, well, shoot, Martine, thank you so much for coming. Well, I came here, actually. I'm at his office. Thanks, Linda, for coming to my office.
That's right. You met my need for being able to keep working to the last minute.
I know, really, because I walked in there and you were actually not working. You were goofing off.
Don't tell me why. She was
goofing off. He was looking at his camera stuff. He's like, he loves all his cameras.
I got to go pick up my son right now. I'm supposed to pick him up at 5:15.
Okay, well.
Playing baseball.
So you guys, I want to thank the Prepared Performer again for sponsoring the show. And thank you, Martine. You're always amazing. And of course, I'm going to interview you again. Maybe I'll interview you like every quarter.
That'd be awesome. Different. I would love it. Molly, I actually subscribe to her. I'm a member of her program.
Oh, you are? The
awesome.
Camera Company?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
yeah, she rocks.
She is amazing. So I'll put that back on the screen there. So you guys, go check out thepreparedperformer.com and check it out. It's really amazing. She's a great woman and really teaches a lot of stuff. She does not hold back. So we will see you later. And if there's any topics that you want me to ask Martine about, just put them in the comments below and he'll respond. Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.